So AH has been betrayed by yet another girlfriend. That's right, that makes 4 that have gone on record, according to sources that have done this already. As more and more sources approach the media and say, hey, her career is over, people are distancing themselves from her. Why? Because she's burned bridges publicly, she's burned bridges privately, and people, they want to get away from this before it consumes them as well. Now, some of these names trying to distance themselves from AH, I mean, they are high profile too, and maybe that's because behind the scenes you have sources saying that AH, she is threatened to end people's careers. She is threatened by what they assume are phony allegations against people, saying, I'll take you down. And when you look at some of the statements that are being credited to exes over the last few weeks, statements like this one here that came up from a source with House and Habit, yeah, you can understand why people might just want to not only distance themselves career-wise, as some reports are saying, but also personally too. You know, there are reports coming out saying that people, they don't want her in the houses right now. Basically, she can go fend for herself. You and I, we're going to talk about all of this today, too. I mean, this is crazy times. This is crazy times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And when I saw this article start making the rounds, the thing that immediately jumped out at me here was one name, Cara D. The article, by the way, is called, quote, She's Getting Ghosted by Her Friends. AH Left Fending for Herself as Close Friends Cara D, Kristen Stewart, and Margot Robbie turn their backs on her. Now, as far as Cara D being listed as somebody turning their back on or betraying AH, I found that name to be fascinating. Why? Because according to one of her key witnesses in the UK and in Virginia, AH had a relationship with her and the Rocket Man. You know, we didn't get to see that testimony in Virginia, but it's easily found. It was cut out of his deposition. He said that his fiance at the time, that would have been AH's best friend, confirmed that with him. And we have other proof too. We had Popcorn Planet supply pictures from an elevator, pictures of AH, Cara D, same elevator James Franco was featured on. Yeah, I mean, that name is somebody intimately connected with her. Now, as far as girlfriends and betrayal are concerned, this isn't the only girlfriend to be listed on record as someone betraying AH. Remember, House and Habit, she did a tell-all article that quoted a source that was once connected to AH intimately. She referred to them as Gia. She talks about how they met, how they partied together, and how eventually the relationship she and the Rocket Man were involved in fell apart with AH. With this story going sideways and big time at a Gatsby-themed party, according to House and Habit, where this source ends up bringing a date to a party that was given by a Rocket Man. So you're talking about 2 exes being listed right there. AH volatilely freaking out. Haha, God, he was cute, the source said. Haha, because I was into him and she flipped out. I brought a guy, especially him. No one is allowed to play with her toys. She didn't actually give 2 F's about me. It's just one of her toys at the bottom of the toy chest. As soon as someone else is playing with it, they want it back. That's her. So it's all about control, mainly. Haha, she's like Veruca Salt. I want it now. Yes. Now that story from Gia, it culminates in, well, AH grabbing her by the neck, according to her, slashing her dress with a wine opener like a maniac, screaming that she was going to her neck for bleeping her boyfriend. Yeah, when you look at reports like that coming from House and Habit, remembering we just watched one of the most high-profile cases we have ever seen carry out over 6 weeks with yet another ex, that would be JD, going on the stand testifying, hey, she's volatile behind the scenes too. We've heard that from her ex-best friend, you know, that fiance that I mentioned before, Rocky Pennington. She went on record saying that she got belted before as well by AH. Yeah, maybe you could understand why people, they would want to close their houses down. This, by the way, This is what that article says, comes from a source. Quote, AH has reached out to her old party pals like Kirsten Stewart, Cara D, Margot Robbie, hoping they'll help her find a place to stay. Well, she's getting snubbed, and in many cases, flat out ghosted. With ghosted, of course, meaning that people, they're not only not, Now remember, other sources have gone on record too. Sources listed by places like Pop Topic, who talked about how a longtime veteran of the film industry wrote them a bombshell email saying, you know what, her acting career is over. Maybe that's why people would want to move away from her too. They said, you can't trust a word that comes out of her mouth. She's a compulsive liar, master manipulator, and Hollywood is starting to see that. Now the article, it goes on to detail the why. And when you look at the why and you think about being somebody in Hollywood, yeah, maybe you could see why people would distance themselves professionally. If they saw this behavior too professionally, they would distance themselves privately. And well, she herself said, I haven't had any work in a while. That's why I want to sue JD, because I can't get film projects anymore. And you never see any pictures of her with high-profile names. You see pictures with, say, Eve Barlow, but yeah, as far as Hollywood is concerned, she does seem to be flat-out ghosted. Here, though, Pop Topic went on, saying, according to the email that they had received, she would end up showing up late, she would be intoxicated for scenes, and she would argue with cast and crew. If you had to deal with that, again, on a professional basis, why would you open up your home to it? And well, people like Cara D, who may have witnessed that. Again, you saw what Gia had to say. Yeah, why would you open your home up to that? You already knew what's there. Going further, though, it says, during the production of a now released yet undisclosed film, the 35-year-old Austin, Texas actress vindictively attempted to sabotage the project when her director had tried to talk to her about this behavior, about the drinking and the tardiness. It said, quote, she threatened to end the director's career. I assumed that she meant by making phony allegations against them. The email read, yeah, like I said, when you put that stuff into perspective, when you put these other reports into perspective about behavior, it looks like a train wreck. A train wreck. Well, if it was me, I would definitely want to stay away with them, and I'm sure that other people, when they see it, they want to stay away from it as well. Let me know what you think, though. Always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Can't say that enough. If you want to help out the channel, by the way, share this stuff. Tell everybody it exists. Show them what's going on. Plus, you want to go further, there are links in the description. We could always use your help, so check those out. But you being here, that is the biggest help of all. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm going to end here thanking you again and saying see you soon.